Hey guys, I just wanted to do a quick video to show how I'm using the DACPAC to create a non-null foreign key. Um, I have my sandbox project here that I use just to try stuff before implementing it in one of our projects for real. And I'll just show you what I want to do here first. We have two tables, a band table and a musician table. And this musician table, I'm going to add a new column here that's band ID. It'll reference the band table, so it'll be a foreign key, and we don't want it to be null. And I'll show you that in a second, just real quick, what the database looks like. You can see if I just run this now, we don't have anything in the musician table at the moment. We have 3 bands here, and we have a new table with a schema of DACPAC. It's called scripts history, and that's going to keep track of any pre and post deployment scripts we have to run. And I'll show you that here in a second as well. Let's show, so I created some folders. We have a pre-deploy folder here. And so if we look at the file there, every time we do deployment, before the deployment occurs, we'll run the code in this pre-deployment file. And as you can see here, we create this DACPAC schema if it doesn't already exist, and we create this scripts history table if it doesn't already exist. And that's going to just keep track of every time we run scripts, we'll put them in that table, and you'll see that in a minute. And then if we're using SQL command mode here, which we are, we can use these constructs, and this :r here loads this file and will run its contents. So the pre-deployment script will create this stuff, and then anything that's in any of these files we put here. And it's important to note that these don't just get run once just because they're here. The logic to do so is within the files themselves. So if we look at this truncate musician that's here, what we're doing is, if in the scripts history table this script doesn't exist yet, then we're going to run this, and we're going to truncate the contents of musician, and then we're going to insert into our scripts history table that we've run this. Okay, so the next time we run it, we won't run it again. And then the same concept with our post-deployment script. If we wanted to have any logic running, any SQL running post-deployment, we would include it here, line 12. And then we'll run these scripts. So we have another script post-deployment called seed musicians. So if we look at that, that's here. And if the script doesn't exist yet in our scripts history table, we're going to seed some musicians here. And then the same thing, we'll put the name of the script in our history table so we don't run it again in the future. And the reason we're doing these things is because this is what we need to do to create a foreign key that's not null. So let's do that now and see how that works. So in our musician table, that would be the same thing as if I just double click the musician over here. I'm going to create band ID, and it's going to be int, and it's going to be not null. And we want a foreign key constraint of band ID referencing band ID, okay? So our table's complete, that change is made. And when we run this now, we will get our band ID. Wanted to show, okay, so what I also did, if you right click on the DACPAC, you can go to publish, and then you can go to edit, and you can select your settings here, and your database connection will show up here. And you can do that every time if you like. Or if you don't want to do it every time, once you set the database connection here, you can hit save profile as, and that's what I did here, which created this file. And so if we want to create a published profile for dev, sandbox, UAT, local, whatever, we can do that. And this is a little misleading. This is my local sandbox database that I play around with. It just so happens we also have a sandbox environment. That's not this. So if you double click that, you can see that it remembers our connection. And then if you hit generate script, I was going to just hit publish there to make the publish actually happen, but you can hit generate script just to see what will happen. Take a look at it before you run it. Here is, some system stuff, and then you can see we have our pre-deployed script stuff showing up here where we create the schema and the table. And then you can see where we've included this truncate musician, and then this right here, this is the contents of truncate musician, that file right here. And then you can also see where if we're going to do something where we would lose data, we check right here if we're going to lose data in musician, an error will occur. And I can show you a way around that if you're okay with possible data loss. And then the rest of our scripts are here you can run. So if we double click the publish, if we were going to possibly lose data and we're okay with that, you can go to advanced and you can click uncheck block incremental deployment if data loss might occur. So if you uncheck that, the deployment will continue even in possible data loss. So I'm going to hit publish here. Okay, it completed successfully. So if we look at our database again, if I run this, we can see that our insert worked. We have our new column band ID that's a non-null foreign key, and it references the band table here. And then we can also see in our new DACPAC scripts history table, we can see that we ran these two scripts so that if we were to run it again, those scripts, if we were to publish again, those two scripts wouldn't be run again. And then finally, no, I think that's it. So I'm going to replicate this in our time off DACPAC, and I just thought it'd be helpful to see all of that instead of just looking at code in a PR. Thanks.